So psychedelics are a tool. They don't do the work for you. And I want to be really, really clear. It's not a magic bullet. It is not going to heal you immediately. It's not going to make any kind of trauma or challenging situations that you've experienced simply go away. It does increase the neuroplasticity in the brain, which means that neural pathways, this experience has this meaning, can be rerouted. So this experience can mean other things. Doesn't mean the experience goes away. And it never will. What it means is that you may have a different relationship with the thing that happened. So if a person wants to heal, it takes time. It takes effort. It takes experiences and continuing to just daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, to do things that are going to change them deep inside of themselves, which requires building new habits. It requires changing our routines. It means changing the things that we say to ourselves. It means all kinds of stuff like that, the different choices we make and the behaviors that we act out. So my rule of thumb is that the process goes along a scale. And we start off at 0, and we hopefully get to about a 10. Maybe a 7 or 8 or a 9 or a 10, but we are going to be in the experience. And at the very deepest part, the depth of being in the experience is where I'm attempting to have a person be at an 8 or a 9 or a 10, maybe an 11, maybe a 12 sometimes. But ultimately, there's something that's occurring. And if a person can't get into that 7, 8, 9, or 10 realm, maybe it's a dosage issue. Maybe it's a resistance issue. Maybe it's that they don't want to let go. Maybe it's the ego isn't allowing them to. No matter what, there's at some point during the peak part of the experience where they hit what they hit, they reach the level or the depth that they're going to, and then they begin to kind of come back down. And so I will not leave, and I won't, go home, and we won't separate or part ways until a person is below a 5. They're back down under that threshold and that stratus. What I find plenty of times is that people think they're below a 5 much sooner than they actually are. And so ultimately I'll be like, yeah, I think I'm going to hang out for another hour or 2 or something like that. But ultimately I decide when the experience is over, and it's going to be over at some point, if 5 to 7 hours later, maybe 9 at the longest. But I've never had an experience go past 9 or 10 hours. So after a session is over, after the experience is over and the session is over, generally I think a person should just chill out and relax. I don't think you should go out for dinner. I don't think that you should go out and party or, go and have drinks and things. I think you should relax. I think you should just chill out. And whether that's at home or that's in a hotel room, I don't think you should fly. But you might do a little bit of light journaling. You might do, have some food, a light meal or, whatever, and drink lots and lots of water. And then the next morning, again, I think that you should be gentle, go for a walk, relax, do a little bit more integration of journaling and things like that. And then, 3 days later, 5 days later, 7 days later, 10 days later, just continue to integrate and anchor what showed up in there. People will have these, sudden realizations of like, oh my God, this has been right in front of me and I've known it, but now I feel it. And so to kind of anchor that thing so that we can play on that and use that to change behavior going forward.